So today, I jumped straight into reading with, it's our first day, it was a half day here, but I jumped straight into reading actual material from our book with my 10th grade class. And the story we looked at is The Refusal by Franz Kafka, which is the first story in our curriculum, which is the McGraw-Hill Study Sync. And those of you who have worked with The Refusal before, you know that it's a little bit, it can be a little bit tough to read. It's some of the students described it as awkward, confusing, various other adjectives that they threw in there, but it is a tough read, especially for 10th graders. But I mean, there's something interesting that happens in it, and I like to share a way that we found today to make it a little more interesting to the students and actually created a great conversation with them. And what I used was something we talked about, in the secondary literacy training through Tennessee, and is also something you find in the Writing Revolution book by Judith Hochman and Natalie Wexlar. And it's the because but so technique, sentence expanding. And I wanted to show you the sentences that we have that began a really productive discussion today in my class. If you look, it says, the top one says, the refusal is stupid because the setting is ruled by a colonel who doesn't really use his authority directly. So how this began was I simply asked my fourth period class, what's one word you would use to describe the refusal? One of the more brilliant students in the room, who's actually quite an English student, she said, it's stupid. So I obliged her and I wrote on the board, the refusal is stupid, but I added one word, because. So instantly she was put into the position where the students expected her to explain why she felt that the refusal was stupid. So she had the choice. Either she could be a smart aleck or she could say something, intelligent. So she chose the latter option. And the one word because led to her saying, it's stupid because the setting is ruled by a colonel who doesn't really use his power. That was her direct statement. And so, I added the word authority, because we talked about some synonyms that we could use. And I said, well, what is the problem with his use of authority? And they're like, well, he doesn't really come out and rule in the way that we think that a leader should rule. And so I said, so he rules indirectly. And they're like, yes. So all of a sudden, we have a really good nugget to build off of through this technique by just simply adding the word because to what was intended as a silly response. But we didn't stop there. So we added a second sentence following the Hochman method. It says, the refusal is stupid, but, and almost instantly a second student said, it creates a good image. And I said, well, an image of what? And we came to the final sentence that it creates a good portrayal of life in a dictatorship. Which the story does, and honestly, that is, in my estimation, the greatest point you can take away. It gives a very interesting portrayal of what it feels like to live in a dictatorship without coming out and saying, this is what life in a dictatorship is like. So we finally come to our final sentence, the refusal is stupid, so, and the bell rang. And the thing that was the most remarkable about this, I've taught this story to 10th grade English classes 2 times a year, because we are on the block system with semesters, for the past 3 years. And they always struggle with it. And rightfully so. It is a thick story. It's hard to get into, or to fight through its density to get at what it's saying for a lot of students. And oftentimes I have to guide them a little more than I had to today. So I really wanted to say the because, but, so sentence expanders have proven themselves to be a great tool with a class reading a rather complex story. And I wanted to suggest to everybody else, who might be interested in how to apply the things we've learned in the secondary literacy training this summer, that go ahead and plug this in. I mean, first day, instant result. I think you're going to like what you see. Thank you.